Okay, we live.
Okay.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
Going all right? What's your name?
My name is Monica.
Monica? Nice to meet you. You okay with me using this on my YouTube channel?
I'm fine with that.
Cool. So what can you tell me about yourself? Where are you from? Are you from Albuquerque?
I'm from Las Cruces, and I'm a mother of two. Unfortunately, I don't feel like a mother of two because I haven't been in their life the majority of it. Been on the streets now for about 5 or 6 years. It's been hard.
Yeah.
It's been difficult. It's
You out here by yourself or you with someone?
luckily I do have other people that we kind of migrate together, and we all camp together, so we can look out for each other. If one of us is not doing as well that day, somebody else kind of picks up the slack.
That's cool.
But we look out for each other and make sure that all our needs are met, and that if any of us is in need of something, that we can
each
help.
other.
Yeah, we support each other.
That's cool.
We do. It's our street family.
So you said you're originally from Las Cruces?
Yes.
And how was your upbringing there? Did you spend most of your childhood there?
I was in Las Cruces until 11. My parents, like a lot of parents these days, are fighting, and there's just a lot of abuse in the house, and it made for a difficult childhood, and it made for an even more difficult adulthood because I didn't know how to have a relationship that was healthy, and I didn't know how to separate myself long enough to heal from the wounds, and I became the abuser. You know, I might have been the abused in the beginning, but I became the abuser. And once I seen myself doing that, I had to look at myself and what I was doing. You know, I was seeing what I was doing to my kids, you know, when they were in my life, you know, what they were seeing. And I wanted to break those chains and those cycles, and it wasn't something that was easy to do.
Was it more of physical abuse or neglect or kind of?
Oh, a little bit of
everything?
everything. Yeah, there was physical abuse, there was neglect, there was, gosh, I carried the weight of a lot of things that I didn't feel like a child should carry.
Right.
And I saw myself doing that to my daughter because my kids are 11 years apart. So she's in high school and she's trying to enjoy her
Childhood
newfound adulthood.
Right.
And I was putting this kid on her and the responsibility of this child, and she was like, "Mom, I didn't have a kid, you did. Why am I taking care of him?" And wow, that was a slap in the face because I realized, you know, she's right, you know, and I was doing to her the same thing my mother did to me. And I resented my mother for that, you know, and it made me very angry. And there was a lot of times that I felt like I was forced into a situation or a choice that I shouldn't have been, just to try to keep from having too much animosity in the home, you know. I really, if I knew now what I didn't know then, I would try to be more vocal, and, you know, try to get my mother to understand where I was coming from, what it was doing to us.
It's hard to communicate when you're a kid too. Like you kind of feel and know that things aren't right, but then you're not sure, and then you also don't know how to communicate it. So
yeah, communicating it is very difficult, and a lot of times, you know, as children, we're just told to shut up and deal with it.
Right.
You know, what's in the house stays in the house, and you don't take it outside of the house, and you don't express your dirty laundry.
Right.
And so that was the way it was in our home. You know,
you just hold it inside and you carry it, and then it turns into a cycle.
Yeah, it becomes a cycle that just explodes, and I didn't want my kids to have to go through that, you know.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 49.
49?
Mm-hmm.
So when you came to Albuquerque, you said it was about 4 years ago or 5 years ago or something?
Oh, no, I've been here since I was 11.
Oh, 11 you said.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
so like 38 years. Holy cow.
Oh, yeah.
Time has flown by.
Right.
You know?
What led to you being out here?
Actually, I was a straight A student. I was very active in school, academically, and my mother didn't support me in any of that, but that had a lot to do with her drinking and her partying and stuff. And, you know, she was trying to get over the relationship with my father, and there was a lot of baggage there, and I understand it now. I mean, I didn't then. I would lash out. with her. I mean, and I just throw myself into my schoolwork, and that's why I was doing so well that way. But then when that got yanked from me because we had to move up here due to a situation with her and my stepfather, I was very angry with her, and I stopped throwing myself into my schoolwork, and I started drinking. I started using drugs and doing a lot of things that I really regret. Just
rebelling and
very much. And I had my daughter at a very young age, and
how old were you?
I was I was 19, no, 17. I was 17 when I had her, and she was my joy. She was my everything. And of course, I was in a relationship with him, and it was very abusive. He's passed on now, and I haven't been with my daughter nearly enough. I haven't spent enough time with her, and I know right now she's looking for me because she lost her father, and she goes, "Mom, I need to know that you're safe." But I'm still dealing with a lot of demons.
How long has it been since you've seen her?
A little over a year.
A year?
Yeah. And I was finally getting to a place where her and our relationship was starting to mend, and I was getting to see my grandson and my son, and I was being a caregiver for this gentleman right when COVID hit. And so that made everything very difficult. My daughter did come to see me at my apartment and stuff, and it felt good, and she told me, she was like, "Mom, I understand your demons. I understand what you're fighting. I'm not using it against you. I'm not holding it against you. I just need you in my life." And that was great to hear. And then my situation of being stable just kind of fell out from under me. And
what happened with the transition of you being in a home to literally on the streets? Were you working, and then?
I was working as a caregiver. The guy that I was looking out for had, he also used and had a lot of people in and out. So the fourplex that we were living in was, the other 3 apartments were all family. And they had other family members from out of town coming in that wanted that 4th apartment that we were in. And he worked for the landlord. So it was pretty easy for him to
just have access to
getting us pushed out. And he lost his housing, and I lost where I lived, and then my phone. So I lost access to a lot of things, including everything I owned, and I've been trying to deal with that.
Is this like your first time being quote unquote homeless, or had you kind of experienced it before?
Well, because of the relationships that I've had in the past, I've kind of borderline done homelessness a lot, mainly because of the abuse in the relationships. I would have to up and move.
Yeah, just take a break and get out or whatever.
Get myself out of the situation, stay with friends, and then try to work on getting it back together. And I couldn't hang on to a healthy relationship. And then as my addiction started to take over, to kind of take away the pain.
Right. It's coping, like a coping mechanism, an unhealthy one, but
I know.
What's the main thing you were using?
Everything. If it was ingestible, I did it. Yeah. And that's very dangerous, especially with the things that are out there these days. You've got the blues, you've got the heroin with fentanyl, you have crack, you have meth, you have marijuana, and anymore they're putting fentanyl in pretty much everything.
Right.
And it's dangerous. And I watch other people that are self-destructing even worse than I am. And it makes me feel so, it doesn't make me feel better about anything in the least, but it makes me feel really sad for the situation of our society, because we don't know how to cope. We don't know how to communicate. And because of that, numbing is the easiest thing to tolerate. And unfortunately, it's creating more and more broken lives, broken relationships. Our children are left with these voids the same void that I grew up with.
Right.
And
it's crazy how we repeat the cycle, even if it's getting into unhealthy relationships, or also even just becoming, the person causing the pain.
Yeah.
Do you have a plan in place or any desire to try to get clean and maybe get a job or anything, or you're not really feeling it right now with where you at?
I do, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in limbo. I mean, I'm so sick of being out here. I'm sick of being homeless. I'm not getting any younger, and I miss the absence of my kid and my grandson. I want to be a part of his life before he's grown. I was absent for so much of my daughter's life that I don't want to do that again. And I'm already doing that. And I know that. So I beat myself up a lot, but I'm trying to be mindful and remind myself that I got to be gentle with myself and accept it for what it is, and let the future be what it may, and just stay in today, stay in the present, and learn how to be okay with who I am today so that I can be present in my child's life and in my grandchild's life. And I know I've got a hard road ahead with my son because I pretty much gave him up when he was a baby. And
do you have 2 kids?
I have 2.
How old is
my daughter?
How old are both your kids?
My daughter is 30. We're in 22, right? Yeah, my daughter's 32 and my son is 21.
Do you see him, or you had to give him up? So you haven't seen him?
I gave him up to my mom. So I'm grateful that, between my mom and my daughter, they helped me a lot with him. So I didn't lose him to the state. But I've seen him on occasion, and every time he sees me, he's ecstatic to see me, but he's still, you could see he's harboring a lot of hurt feelings. But because he sees me so rare, he would rather make the most of the time.
So he acknowledge you as your mom, or as his mom, rather?
Yeah.
So that's cool. And it's cool that your daughter, she's worked past, if she ever even had any sort of animosity towards you.
Oh, God, did she ever.
That's special.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's love. I mean, she, regardless of your situation, she's basically, it sounds like she still has open arms for you. So,
that's why I tell a lot of people, there's a lot of people out here that they're like, I lost my kids, and, the father and my parents and everybody's put them against me. I'm like, your kids are going to love you no matter what. They're always going to be a part of your life. They might be absent for a minute, but they'll come looking for you.
That's cool.
There's a bond that we have with our children that regardless of what the situation is, they want to know who gave them life. And there's so many unanswered questions that they come searching for it. And I'm grateful for that because it gave me the opportunity to mend a lot of things. I've been trying to mend the relationship with my mother before she passes, but she doesn't want anything to do with me. And I can't do anything about that. The door's open. My daughter's tried a little bit, but she shuts her down. My daughter, I'm grateful that when her dad passed, she called me from the hospital because she had to pull the plug on him. He was shooting up in his IV, and I guess he got a bacteria that ate his brain overnight.
Damn.
And he was brain dead. And when he called her to be moved to the ICU, she said he sounded like a child. He didn't sound like himself. And within 24 hours, he couldn't speak, couldn't anything.
That's crazy.
So she had to pull the plug.
Damn.
And she goes, Mommy, I've got to know that you're okay. And I understand, this shit is dangerous. And especially like the meth and shards, whatever, it's a bacteria. And we're basically playing Russian roulette with our lives.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want me gone yet. And I owe her that much. I owe me that much to be able to be present and try to repair the damage in my past.
You have her there, and you're still here. You know what I mean? Like, and let it slip away.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think is the main thing that triggers you to use just kind of everything, or do you have one specific thing that just you think hurt you the most that's eating at you? Does it depend on the day?
I think my life has been such a roller coaster of emotions that have been out of control that numbing is the only one that I can grasp a hold of and be okay with.
Just the numbing is the
because
normal.
It's mellow. It's mellow. It's the only thing in my life that's been tolerable. It's not sporadic. It's not chaotic. It's not
the most consistent thing that you've had in your life.
Yeah. It's the one thing that grounds me. And unfortunately, I've been doing that for, God, since I was a child.
Yeah.
I think I started drinking when I was like 7 or 8.
What's the first, like, quote-unquote hard drug that you used, and about what age do you think?
Marijuana at the age of 10. Meth by the age of 11. Coke.
Who introduced you to that? To any of it, or I mean, just the.
It was at parties that my family all getting together, and it was
just
there.
kind of there, social.
Yeah. And then cocaine, and then crack. And my thing was synergism, blend them all together.
Yeah.
Until you get that feeling, that balance, that perfect numbness that you can function through.
Yeah. Just kept leveling up and finding your favorite combination, I guess.
Exactly. And that's why I'm like, God, if anybody tried to hit the streets and do what I've been doing for the last few years, like just from the get, it would kill anyone. And
from using so long, you probably just have a different kind of tolerance.
Right. And I've seen kids about my daughter's age try to keep up and had to bring them back, and that is hard. It's hard for me to deal with because they want to be tough. They want to be, like the OGs, but it's nothing to be like. Yeah. It's just because our pain is there, and we need a little bit more to stay numb.
Yeah. What do you think would help you? Like, do you think having a place to stay would help you?
Housing.
A job? More family support? Or what's the main thing you think would help you?
I think housing is a big issue. Some type of area, like housing programs are great. They give you the support you need, and they help you to work through the things that you're dealing with. Because we don't know how to communicate. We know that there's something bothering us, but we don't know how to get to the bottom of it.
Right.
And then how to communicate it with people that are bothering us or bugging us without being hateful and hurtful.
Right.
And because that turns around, that's another demon, because we lash out and we hurt the people that care about us, and then we're dealing with that and want to numb because we feel guilty for the stuff that we're doing, and we just end up in another. It's one cycle after another,
right.
And they're all blending together. It's become so. I've lost track because it's like a tornado. It's like being in a tornado.
You don't even know where the start line even was.
I have no idea. It is so blurred.
Yeah.
But I think that if there was housing available and
counseling, guidance,
counseling, guidance, some type of work program, or kind of like they do with at the college, you work and take some of your what is it called, tuition, goes for some of your tuition, so you're doing something positive and learning how to balance again.
Well, I appreciate your time. Is there anyone that you want to reach out to or shout out to, say hi to? They see this video?
Yeah.
You're good. Take your time. I'll chop out what I need to. What are you thinking about right now?
My mom, my daughter. You know, they talk about those generational curses, and this has been a constant in my family with the women. You know, it's been from my great-great-grandmother to my grandmother to my great-grandmother to my grandmother to my mom to me to my daughter, and my daughter doesn't have any girls yet, and she said she's not planning on having any. But I just want to end it, like
Be
putting up the walls and all the attacks, and just remember that.
Just be quote unquote normal again.
Yeah.
So many people, I think, take for granted their normal lives.
Yeah.
They don't realize there's some people that are just trying to be that, much less.
Exactly.
You know, some people get just so caught up in materialistic things,
Yeah.
things that don't matter. There's
True.
people out here that are just trying to find normal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
That would be nice. Just a little bit of normal.
I feel you.
And, you know, I hope that if my mom sees this, that she will forgive me for being the rambunctious child that I was, and always butting heads with her and going against her. If my daughter sees this, Lisa, please forgive me for not being there and for not being strong enough. And for my son, Daniel, you ever see this? Know that I'm just human and I'm broken. And I hope this helps you to understand a little bit about where I'm coming from, and help us to move forward and mend the relationship. I want my kids back.
Yeah.
And I love you guys dearly.